Okay, so what we're doing here is we're creating the illusion of being on a location. We're based in a studio. So we're simulating being in a location, we're simulating the lighting as though we're on the actual set itself. In this form here, we've got Samsung IVC LED, which is micro LED. So it's a really fine pixel pitch, giving that true believability of being there.
Truth be told, a few years ago, this technology was very, very expensive. The cost of this technology, whether it's for backgrounds, whether it's for screens, whether it's crews knowing how to use the technology efficiently, it's come down massively in cost. And so it's not just for sort of high-end film advertising shoots, it can be used for social media, it can be used for like lots of still shoots. But I think with any shoot, it's not just a case of shooting one format. You're often shooting moving image, you're shooting stills, you're shooting all kinds of different cut downs as well. And this is where this sort of technology is perfect. You can do multi-market assets with a press of a button. You can be going from one season to another season. You can be going from one country to another country.
This studio here that we've built at Twickenham is brand new. It's sort of 3-4 weeks old, in fact. We're still, tinkering with little bits and finessing it. But we've built here a studio which we think offers the best solution for everyone. It is 100 square meters above my head of LED screen, which can put out 9,500 nits, which is a phenomenal amount of brightness. If we stick that on full, it actually starts to hurt your eyes. So we can simulate, a nice summer's day really quite easily. We're getting sort of 90% of the way there. The only thing that we're missing, which we include extra, are things like these hard lights, which are creating things like the sun, which you can't create from an LED screen.
To my left there, I won't turn around. We have the Profoto L1600D. It's a very lightweight, very fast, very easy to set up. The light puts more output out for less energy in, and there's also roughly half the weight of other competitive products because it doesn't have a ballast. So it's a really lovely system.
We've also got a few wild walls, which means we've got walls that can be moved around and brought in close, which is quite good for certain scenarios where you're shooting multiple cameras. We've actually raised the floor up inside this studio, which means our screen is actually sunken behind the stage floor, so there's no join at the bottom. We're lucky that we are early adopters of it, and we've got over 150 individual projects under our belt. In this volume, we use a few different technologies. So we use Autodesk Flame, which is more of a compositing tool, which means we can resize and rescale things and colorize them really quickly and fast. We also use other bits of software. One particular software which is called Assimilate, which is great for what's called 2.5D. So that's taking it above the level of just being a flat image, because when the camera moves, so we have tracking devices on our cameras, so when the camera moves, it creates the illusion of a 3D environment. Even though the camera's only moved a slight bit, the background is just floating on different layers. So it's almost like a deck of cards that are stacked closer towards you. The more things that are closer towards you, the more you see a movement of them and you get a parallax effect. And then ultimately, we use Unreal Engine, which is traditionally known as a game engine, but that's what we build a lot of interior environments in, because that gives you full 3D effect, and that's being drawn on the screen as the camera moves in real time.
We've also got the sustainability side of things where, you can't be traveling in 2025, large crews around the country with big carbon footprints. And so I think it's really incumbent upon everyone, and that's brands, that's producers, that's production companies, to be responsible when it comes to producing things. Don't just look at the budget, look at what the carbon footprint is. And that is so critical and often gets forgotten in this sort of pursuit for creative excellence on one side, but then dropping the budget on the other side. So tools like this with virtual production, with sort of stock libraries that we've got behind us can do that. It's a fantastic tool.